Hey everybody, welcome to Faniversity. There's a lot of changes I haven't made. X-Men took me a long time because I was going through two moves. Actually, I was going from one place to an Airbnb and Airbnb to here. But I'm gonna skip Blade 2 for right now. I have all the notes down. But we're gonna do Spider-Man 2002. So we might as well well, actually, let me tell you how I feel about this movie. I have seen it so many times. I saw it so many times as a little kid. Then I saw it multiple times before I saw No Way Home. And then I saw it multiple times for writing this video. So I love this movie. It is one of the most influential superhero movies of our time, and definitely showed that it gave a basis on what superhero movies could be and how they could possibly in the future be better, which back in the early 2000s you only had like X-Men and Blade. Let's get started. We start on Earth 96283. I'm gonna start naming the Earths from now on, so in Secret Wars you could possibly remember them. I'm not gonna remember them. I'm just gonna realize, oh snap, that's Spider-Man. The intro is so long, like it is 5 minutes, I swear. But the only thing that works about it is the Danny Elfman intro. Same with the visuals, like that looks beautiful, especially with that Elfman score in the background. He not only did perfect with Batman, but he did it with Spider-Man. When we're done with that, we get our opening monologue by the great Tobey Maguire playing Peter Parker, this universe's Spider-Man.
Who am I? You sure you want to know? The story of my life is not for the faint of heart. If somebody said it was a happy little tale, if somebody told you I was just your average ordinary guy not a care in the world, somebody lied.
Right there is Mary Jane, who was Peter's crush his whole life. Okay, why are there 30-year-olds in this high school? Do I look 30? I don't look like I'm 30, I swear. These kids are like, they have to be past college already. We see that nobody likes Peter, and he's bullied just all the time. Like, nobody likes him at all. Then we get introduced to the Osborns. Harry Osborn, aka Peter Parker's friend, and Norman Osborn, a CEO of a tech company.
You know, I'm something of a scientist myself.
Norman talks about nanotech, and for 2002, that's pretty new, okay? Now you got every hero having nanotech, but also you can see it be set up in No Way Home when Doc Ock says something about nanotech. They go to a spider lab for a field trip, which I guess is kind of cool. I wouldn't go. I would. Actually, I would. I want to be Spider-Man.
What's Daddy gonna do? Sue me?
What is going on? The next person who talks will fail this course. I kid you not.
This grass spider hunts you.
I swear to God, that teacher looks more like a student than students look like a student. He looks like he should be in high school.
Orders on precognition and
Those
early
guys are
awareness of
jerks.
danger. A spider sense.
Spider scientist talks about how spiders act, hinting at Peter's powers. They show how toxic Harry is very early in the movie, because Peter's like, yo, you know this thing about spiders? And he's like, yo, see that girl? I like her. And Harry's like, I'm gonna use that information, loser. It's exactly how it went. You don't have to watch the movie. You don't have to watch the movie. I told you. I'm your friendly recap nerd. They go to like a glass case and there's 15 spiders, but one is missing. That's bad. That's a very bad thing. Peter finally grows up and talks to MJ. He talks to another girl and he takes her picture, and there's like a little photo shoot, and the spider is like falling down, gets onto Peter, bites him. At Oscorp, we see the glider that Norman will use later, and the side effects of testing on rats with the Goblin formula, whatever it's called. We're introduced to Peter's guardians, Uncle Ben and Aunt May, They're so old, they don't know how to get jobs. I mean, they're so old that they don't have jobs. Peter goes home and goes to his room instantly, teenager style, you know? Like, I don't need time for a family, I just need to go sleep. He goes to sleep, and like the little nerd he has a dream about DNA. I dream about that at night too, Peter. Don't worry, you're not a weirdo. At Oscorp, Norman gets into the machine and does the gas thing to turn him into evil bad guy, like the alter ego inside his mind. And he has a seizure after the vapor goes away. He kills the scientist and honestly looks creepier without the mask. I'm very happy for No Way Home. They absolutely demolished it because he is terrifying without that thing on. When he has it on, he looks like a Power Rangers villain. Thank you for taking it away. At home, Peter realizes he doesn't need glasses, and now he has six-pack abs. And if you know me, every time I dream of DNA, I get up and I don't need glasses, and I have rock-hard abs. He goes down the stairs, cool-like. I bet you can't do that. If you do, send a video. At the mansion, Osborn is just passed out on the floor, and when he finds out the scientist died, he's like, oh no. It also gives hint that the Green Goblin is like an alternate personality to Norman.
Wow, great reflexes.
See, that stuff is just sticking to his hand, and he shoots web out of his wrist, which, let's just get onto that. It's kind of weird with no web shooters. He's supposed to, but they had no setting up that he's like this smart kid, other than he is able to make nanotech. So why not just keep the web shooters? It would make sense. It's kind of weird having it organic. He throws food at Flash, who is a bully to him.
What happened is that? I think it's freaking weird. Parker?
In the Amazing Spider-Man, he's in one movie, and then he has a more prominent role in Tom Holland's Spider-Man trilogy. In these movies, he just is in this. There's a cool way that this movie uses the spider sense. Like, it slows down time. They do like the punch thing. It is fun.
I don't want to fight you, Flash.
I wouldn't want to fight me neither.
Peter wins, but he's like embarrassed, so he runs to an alleyway. And he does the iconic crawling up the stairs that is memed a million times. He starts jumping building to building, and the CGI was not the best, but oh my goodness, that is water. But I think it's good for what it came out, but it also came out the same year as Lord of the Rings. I just think Sony didn't have a lot of money, and recently it shows that they have that Disney money, so I think that's how CGI is good now. He does a lot of nerdy hand movements before he can shoot his web. He does Shazam. That's thumbs up. He does Shazam. He does a bunch of stuff.
Go, Web! Fly! Up, up, and away, Web! Shazam! Go! Go! Go, Web, go!
When he sings from a web, he smashes his face into a building, and that's how you end the scene. He gets home and realizes he doesn't get to paint with Uncle Ben and Aunt May. It makes him like, oh man, I can't do that. We see how MJ's life at home is like, and she like runs out to take out the trash with Peter, and he has like wise quotes, and his uncle didn't even die yet. And if this first time he's hearing that Uncle Ben dies, I'm sorry, very sorry. They talk about what they're gonna do when they graduate, and it's very sweet. It also sets up MJ's being a actress in the second and third movie.
Well, that's perfect. You're awesome in all the school plays.
Really?
Yeah. I cried like a baby when you played Cinderella.
Peter, that was first grade.
Well, Even so, sometimes you know people. You can just see what's coming.
Flash gets a car and gets MJ, so Peter's like, yo, I gotta get a car. And he creates the spider suit with the montage after saying that he can fight for money. He tests out his web powers, because I don't think they're web shooters, they're web powers. And he makes his room a ginormous mess.
What's going on in there?
I'm exercising. I'm not dressed, Aunt May.
Well, you're acting so strangely, Peter.
Okay, thanks.
Uncle Ben drives Peter down to the library, and he has the most iconic comic book quote probably ever.
Remember, with great power comes great responsibility.
But Peter just always pushes him aside and is like, nah, I don't need you right now. I gotta go fight in the ring. He passes it off as nothing, but after he dies, he'll cherish it, and that's the reason he does what he does and why he fights. But that's what he fights for, is for the person he lost because he wasn't good enough. George Campbell is in this movie because in every Sam Raimi movie he has to make a cameo because they were friends in college and did Evil Dead together. I think that's really sweet. But we meet Bonesaw McGraw, who Spider-Man has to defeat.
Bonesaw is ready!
Spider-Man is introduced as the Amazing Spider-Man, which is just one of many. Amazing, spectacular. Put the list right there. There's so many.
The human spider, that's it? That's the best you got?
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks.
The sum of $3,000 will be paid to the terrifying, the deadly, the Amazing Spider-Man!
The homemade suit in this movie is my second favorite out of the three. The third one, my least favorite is obviously Andrew's, and the best one is Tom Holland's. But this one is just, it looks so goofy when he starts standing there and you see the whole thing.
Hey, Freak Show! You're going nowhere! I got you for 3 minutes! 3 minutes of playtime!
They start fighting. Peter gets canceled for saying this.
That's a cute outfit. Did your husband give it to you?
2002 was a different time. I wouldn't know that because I was born much later. I just know it's different, man. Peter defeats Bonesaw McGraw but only gets $100. Bonesaw McGraw is defeated and Peter only gets $100 with so many memes in this scene. You know what? I need my money. And then the guy's like, I missed the part where that's my problem. See, that's hinting to what's the next meme is going to be, which is,
I missed the part where that's my problem.
yeah, see, this movie's amazing. The place is robbed and Peter lets the criminal go away. And when Peter is walking home, he sees Uncle Ben dying on the ground. And so Uncle Ben dies and Peter goes out for revenge.
They got the shooter.
It shows that Peter loved him and he was just being ignorant when they were talking to each other in the car, and he feels just terrible that was his last interaction with the person he saw as a father figure. And I love how Spider-Man just has that connectability. The powers don't make him Spider-Man, it's the kind of person he is, or they are, because everybody can be Spider-Man. Peter swings around the city, and at night, the swinging actually looks kind of decent. It looks a little goofy, but it's still good. Peter finds out that the guy that killed Uncle Ben also robbed the store, which makes Peter feel like guilty because he let his murderer go. And so he kills him. Peter kills a guy. Peter gets on top of the statue that will appear into the Spider-Verse, which is where Peter B. Parker goes to sit down. The Oscorp facility gets absolutely blown up by an unidentified object, which turns out to be Norman Osborn.
Did you see anything?
Oh my god!
Everybody graduates. I know it's super early on. It's not even that late in the movie. Franchise and Peter graduates. Flash and MJ break up, so Harry starts going after MJ. I feel like these movies are actually romance comedies with Spider-Man on the side, because that's what most of these movies are about. It's like, I love her, Aunt May. I love her. Peter and Aunt May have a great conversation about grief and Uncle Ben, so I'll just include my favorite parts of the scene.
The last thing I said to him, he tried to tell me something important, and I threw it in his face.
You loved him. And he loved you. He never doubted the man you'd grow into. How you were meant for great things. You won't disappoint him.
Peter goes back to the drawing board and makes a new suit. And he has a cool montage of him saving people. And then once that suit is revealed, in 2002 kid's mind, that was probably like amazing. A 2002 nerd's mind, you're like, oh my god, that's the character I've been reading for so long, and he's finally here. And this suit looks amazing. For 2002 standards, Sam Raimi knows how to make good costumes. This whole trilogy, I don't even care how the story is, the costumes are amazing. Even for Doctor Strange, he did excellent with that.
Who is Spider-Man? He's a criminal, that's who he is. A vigilante.
We get introduced to J. Jonah Jameson, who is played by J.K. Simmons, who I think is just, he is the role. He is the character, because in every single universe, minor spoilers for Across the Spider-Verse, he is just every J. Jonah Jameson in the multiverse. I love how he is that, because I could not think of anyone else that can play him. He is the head of the Daily Bugle, and he hates Spider-Man. MJ, she's working at like a fast food restaurant and not achieving her dreams at all, and Peter's like, man, I'm sorry. And then MJ's like, I'm dating Harry. Peter's like, oh man, I live with Harry. He sucks. Except he doesn't say the suck part, because he's nice. We get a mention of Dr. Connors and how Peter got fired, which it's kind of weird. You introduce Dr. Connors in this universe, and then it's kind of sad that he never was able to be used. I'm sure for Spider-Man 5, if Sam Raimi was able to do that, he would have been the villain of that. Peter starts taking pictures of Spider-Man for the Daily Bugle so he can make money, and no one is suspicious that he gets these pictures somehow.
They're crap. Crap. Mega crap. I'll give you $200 for all of them.
That seems a little low.
Take them somewhere else then.
Peter meets Betty Brant, who in the Tom Holland movies is completely different. In Tom Holland movies, she is just a high schooler. In these movies, she's part of the Daily Bugle. Norman has a meeting with the Oscorp board, and they fire him, and then they do another meme.
What? Why wasn't I told? Well, you can't do this to me. I started this company. You know how much I sacrificed?
There's an Oscorp event, and it's pretty obvious that MJ just doesn't like Harry anymore. Peter starts having a spidey sense, and the Goblin comes out of the clouds onto the balloons, which I feel like is a very reminiscent to 1989 Batman. Green Goblin bombs the building, so Spider-Man starts saving people. And he gets into his suit. He does the Superman thing. He runs down the street and puts on his suit. And nobody questions it. That's so weird how in these old superhero movies, they just do that. Green Goblin makes people into CGI skeletons, except for MJ. She's alive. Spider-Man shows up, and they have their very first fight. Goblin, he has to go, and Spider-Man, he saves MJ, and they swing around the city, which MJ's hair is blowing in a completely different way. They land on a building.
Who are you?
You know who I am.
I do.
Your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Harry gets jealous of Spider-Man because he stole MJ in his mind, I guess. Norman, he starts talking to the mirror, the Green Goblin in the mirror, and his acting is phenomenal in these movies. I'm so glad he got to come for the other two to make cameos. He is amazing at acting.
There's only one who can stop us. Or imagine if he joined us.
That's when Norman realizes the experiment he did is what created the Green Goblin. Triple J says that he should be named the Green Goblin.
Call the patent office, copyright the name Green Goblin. I want a corner every time somebody says it.
How about green meanie?
And the whole Daily Bugle explodes.
Who's the photographer who takes the pictures of Spider-Man?
I don't know who he is. His stuff comes in the mail.
You're lying!
I swear.
J. Jonah Jameson actually has it out for Peter in this movie, and he's very nice. But Spider-Man saves Jameson.
Spider-Man! I knew you two were in this together.
Hey, kiddo, let Mom and Dad talk for a minute, will ya?
And Green Goblin, they have this whole thing. Goblin knocks him out with this gas, and then they have a dynamic villain hero dynamic that is still used in movies today. It's repeated in The Dark Knight, but it originated basically in this movie.
I chose my path, you chose the way of the hero. And they found you amusing for a while, the people of this city. But the one thing they love more than a hero is to see a hero fail, fall, die trying. In spite of everything you've done for them, eventually they will hate you. Why bother?
Because it's right.
Then everybody starts to hate Spider-Man after that speech. MJ is getting robbed, and we have the iconic kiss scene that is surprisingly not overused in a lot of movies, but is one of the most iconic comic book movie scenes. See, this movie is what laid everything down for the future of Marvel. Spider-Man saves a baby from a fire, which is just so common, I think, in video games and stuff. You just know it's gonna happen.
Bless you, Spider-Man. Bless you.
There he is! Don't let him get away! Hold it! Hold it right there. You're under arrest. I'm taking you in.
Oh my God, there's somebody still up there!
I'm going.
I'll be here when you get back.
Not coming back, Chief.
Go! Go!
Green Goblin is in the fire, and he pretends to be an old lady, so they start fighting. Peter gets cut on one of the things, but he escapes the fire. He gets cut on his arm. They all have Thanksgiving, and Peter's late because he was just Spider-Man, and he isn't spotted because he's on the ceiling, but a drop of blood drops, and Norman's like, oh, what is that? Peter almost gets caught again, but he shows up at the front door.
Sorry I'm late. It's a jungle out there. I had to beat an old lady with a stick to get these cranberries.
And Aunt May notices that Peter's bleeding, and Norman, in his mind, I think the Green Goblin is slowly getting in there, and he's connecting the dots, you can see in Willem Dafoe's face that's happening. Norman leaves in a quick hurry, and MJ is just getting dumped on because Norman is so loud about her, and Harry's like, yeah, bro, yeah. So MJ breaks up with Harry, and it won't be awkward at all for Peter.
Thanks for sticking up for me, Harry.
You heard?
Everyone heard that creep.
The creep. creep is my father, all right? If I'm lucky, I'll become half of what he is. So just keep your mouth shut about stuff you don't understand.
Harry Osborn.
I'm sorry, Aunt May.
Green Goblin, Norman, say that they have to kill Spider-Man's, like, heart. So they go after Aunt May and just blow up the entire building while she's praying. Peter has the bright idea that Green Goblin knows who he is. MJ shows up to give Aunt May flowers, and Peter's like super slick. As the kids say these days, he rizzes her up. Let me go back to my notes.
I said, Spider-Man. I said, the great thing about MJ is when you look in her eyes and she's looking back in yours, everything feels not quite normal because you feel stronger and weaker at the same time.
He also says he's Spider-Man's personal photographer and he's best friends, which in so many movies now, when a superhero wants to impress somebody, like, yo, I'm friends with the superhero. It's in Shazam, it's in movies. We see that Aunt May was awake the entire time. What a weirdo. Peter walks in, and Peter are holding hands. He's like, but my feelings. Harry goes to his dad, and Norman is like laughing, and Harry's like, bro, what's going on? Norman comes out, he's like, what'd you want? Harry's like, hold on, let me look. Harry's like, yo, they in love. And Norman's like, I should have been a better dad. And it shows that Norman has character development in this movie. Aunt May talks about the first time Peter saw MJ, and it's kind of sweet. I love these small moments in these movies where you can just sit down and talk about the character. Peter calls MJ, but the Goblin answers like, will the Spider-Man come out to play? That was a terrible impression at the play part, but it's also used in No Way Home. Green Goblin kidnaps a truck full of children and MJ, and Spider-Man has to decide which one he will let go of, and he decides to do both. He saves MJ, saves the kids, it's all cool. Firstly, those kids must be traumatized when Peter's running after this random ginger. Because we're like, we're gonna die? But the glider shoots... Green Goblin gets under the glider and, like, brings Spider-Man to an abandoned building. Half of Peter's mask blows up because of an explosion. Spider-Man smashes Green Goblin's face so hard it reveals that it's Norman, and then Peter's like, oh my god, it's Norman. And he's Norman for like a little bit, and then the Green Goblin comes back and tries to kill Peter, but Peter does a backflip and he kills himself basically. All Norman says is don't tell Harry, which is the one promise he gets to keep from his dad. Harry walks into Norman's dead body, and it's because of Spider-Man, of course. And at the funeral, Harry says, I'm gonna go after Spider-Man. MJ finally asks Peter if he wants to go out with her, and he's like, nah, I have responsibility. And then the end of the movie happens.
This is my gift. My curse. Who am I? I'm Spider-Man.
What a great... Oh my gosh, shut up. Sorry, I had a dinosaur that was just loud to me. It was like... But this movie is amazing. It is a great start to just comic book movies. And Marvel movies changed forever because of this. We already had Blades, like the first 2 Blade movies and X-Men, as in this just solidified how these movies can be. They can be heartfelt, they can be goofy, but they can also have character development and be character studies. It's just amazing. If you haven't seen the original one, I just told you how it is now, so just watch Spider-Man. Actually, no, you gotta watch my videos. When I'm done with these, go watch Across the Spider-Verse. It is definitely one of the best Spider-Man comic book. Just go watch it. It's one of the best movies of all time. It's the best animated movie. It's the best. I love it. I didn't get a proper review because I didn't have time, but I definitely suggest you watch it. It is peak cinema. Definitely movie of the year. Second movie of the year, sorry. Guardians is first. Hope you all enjoy your day. Bye-bye. This is 32 minutes long. Jesus.